Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Crumble office hours. This is our weekly live session where we dive into real life world use cases. We share expert insights and we show you how you can get the most out of Crumble. I am Alberto, I am the CMO of Crumble, and today we have something very special for you. Well, Crumble is not just a CRM for sales. It's a tool that adapts to many different workflows. And today we are going to see that in action with a fantastic real world example. Joining us from Cape Town, South Africa is Janice Thorne-Smith. Hello, Janice. How are you doing?
Hi, lovely to be with you today.
Thank you so much for accepting this invitation to join us and to show us how you are using Crumble. And we are excited about this, and we are really looking forward to see how you've set up your board and how you are using the different Crumble features in your specific use case. So yeah, feel free to introduce yourself a little bit better and talk maybe a little bit more about the Vine School.
Sure. So I have been working with Crumble for about 6 months now, really enjoying the platform. Worked with a different CRM before, but due to that becoming a paid platform, we needed to look at something else. Being in South Africa, as soon as you've got fees that are in dollars, it becomes really difficult for us to afford things here. And so did a lot of research, started working on Trello, and then discovered the Crumble Power Up. And I'm very, very grateful that I found that, because it has really made a change to my workflow and being able to do a lot of things that I would have not been able to do just on Trello. I work for a school, the Vine School, as Alberto mentioned, and we are part of an international brand, Ambleside International, a group of schools that work with a slightly different curriculum called Ambleside. And I think if you put it in a nutshell, we really are about not just academic, but about character development as well. Young people have a lot of issues in the world today trying to deal with the changes that come about so quickly. Things change in technology, things change in so many ways. And I think it is so important that we not only develop academic minds, but also develop young people in their character. And so we deal a lot with habit formation, working on different habits of not only work habits, but also themselves. And even things like the character of kindness or politeness is so important in how we work with the children too. I started off in marketing many years ago and then went into teaching and spent a number of years teaching and have come full circle in doing now the communications and administration, admissions for the Vine School. So I would like to show you a little bit of how I use Trello Crumble to help us in the admissions process for our school.
Perfect. So yeah, let's have a look at your board, and I'm going to make this full screen so that we can actually see this better. Yeah, there we go. So we see your board.
Thank you. So I think when I worked with the previous CRM program, I learned a lot about pipelines and working my way through a sales pipeline. And so when I was then faced with moving and then starting off with Trello, I had to look at what I needed in my admissions program. We have an admissions where people walk through an admissions process, And starting off with, obviously, as you can see on my board, I've got a, sorry, I've got far enough along. Obviously, starting off with a new lead, and then I contact them, but I wait for a reply, and then I ask them if they can book a tour. Then I've booked the tour. They came to the tour. Now I'm waiting for the application. Sometimes they come to a tour and I get to a stage where actually it's up to them now. It's no point me following up anymore. And so I will put them onto an up to them. And then perhaps I am waiting for an application. They've told me they are going to apply, but they haven't been on a tour yet. And then I get up to a stage where perhaps it is up to them. I can't follow up anymore. As you can see, I don't have any applications that are just sitting in the received box, but I do have a couple of children that are visiting at the moment. And that's our next step of our plan, of our process, where the children come for a tour. And after they've been for a tour, sorry, I'm jumping around. After they've been for a tour, then I give all the documentation to our principal, and then he makes the final decision on acceptance, and then they will work through the enrollment process. Obviously, I have a few other lists after this, being if they have decided that they are withdrawing themselves, or perhaps we have rejected them. There are some times where we don't have space in a class and they've asked to stay on a waiting list. So that's just the way I have set up my lists. And then obviously the next thing I needed to look at, the next thing that I needed to set up was actually what I wanted my cards to look at. And I'm going to look at somebody who's already enrolled. Sorry, this one here. Enrolled, they should be in the enrolled column now. And then I wanted to set it up so that I had an idea of when I came back to check their card, what my next step with them was. And so, for example, in this family, they've accepted, they're enrolled. And so I've got a few labels that I have created with things that are just help me to be able to see things quickly. So, for example, we have a book that we want the families to do when they first join the school, and that is for the children's sake. It tells the family a little bit more about the philosophy of the school and why we do what we do. And so I set up a number of lists. I also wanted to be able to see at a glance if people had found us through a particular way as well. So this isn't how I do all of my reports, but it's more just a quick check to be able to see at a glance what the next thing is, or the most important thing that I'd like to remember about this card. On the description, I will, in my case, I will put what the grade is that they are looking at, and then also what year they want to be admitted to the school. I also want to make a note there as to when my date comes up, as to when I have to follow up with them, what am I actually going to be contacting them about? Instead of putting it all in the activity, I'll put it at the top, just a very quick statement of what I need to do. So the next thing I want them to do is to sign up for the children.
That's a clever way to use it.
I just need it, as it is a bit of a dynamic feature, this, because, you find a way of doing something and then you think, oh, actually, if I do it this way, it would be better. So this is through trial and error and changing things up every now and again. And then I wanted to set up my contacts. Sorry. So I've set up my Crmble contact list. I have hidden certain features here. So I do have a surname, I do have their phone number, I do have their email address as part of this, but I have hidden it for the purpose of privacy on this video. But
Stream,
I have added a number of features here just for me that are important to know. I have put their birthday, although sometimes I don't get it immediately. It's quite important for us to know what suburb they come from, just so that we can know where we are attracting people from. Sometimes we have people who come to us with special needs. We are not a special needs school, but of course we can accommodate a couple of children in classes that perhaps have a slightly special need or are neurodivergent in some way. So putting that up there. Company I've left there, although it's not something that I use. Oh, the one thing I did want to mention in that contact card is obviously the different, when we have phone numbers, obviously there are the different ways of knowing, how to contact them. And so I do obviously use that in how do I contact them? Is it a work number? Is it a home number, personal number, etc.? So I do use that. And then in the deals card, I've also added a few extra things there because I want to know in the card, where are they in my status? Are they still in maybe they're in the child visit stage, or they enrolled? Where are they? But a very important thing that I've added is, and I think this is in the original anyway, is the source and how they came into us, the channel in which they actually came to us. So I will put the sources, and I've added my own sources. So I added website search. I also added, we were on a radio station recently, so I put in that they perhaps found us through listening to the radio station, those kind of things. I've actually got them here. Some of them I'm not sure, and I put unknown, but I have a parent tour, and at the tour I always want to find out where they found us, because that's an important thing for my market research, to know what platforms are working well. We also know that a lot of our families get referred by past parents or staff, or just from friends and family. A lot of people come to our school by word of mouth rather than an advertising campaign. And then so channels.
As I see, it applies not only to business and to deals. So it's important to keep track of how your different channels progress, and especially what you mentioned, when you start a campaign on the radio, you would want to know how many people you have actually attracted, and by marking this with fields. I remember we spoke about this last week, that you mentioned I am writing all the details down, and it is now that you are starting to use the report options to see, to look at numbers and see how you've been doing, how the different channels have been progressing. And I'm very curious to know how you are using the won and lost buttons. What does it mean in your use case? Well,
yes. So on won and lost, I'll actually go in there. I don't know can I change it if I've already put it in as one. I don't think so. No. So I can't do it. Let me just cancel that. So what I do is I will then change the criteria. So when I do one, that's pretty standard. They've become a family at our school. And if I push lost, I have a number of different reasons. Now there are two reasons two general categories. The one is that they have withdrawn themselves from the application process, or they have been rejected. So if they have withdrawn themselves, I will try and find out why. There's often a case in, I don't know if this happens elsewhere in the world, but in South Africa, they put out, parents will apply to a number of schools through our government system. So we will have our Western Cape Education Department, and they will open up a portal where people can apply to schools, and they will apply to their top 5 that they want to go to. sometimes they might not get into any of those schools. And when they don't get in, then they start searching on the the independent schools, where we don't have to go through the government system. And so then they will stay on a waiting list on maybe another school, and then they'll come to us, but then they might get into their first choice. And so then they would withdraw on that basis. They might also withdraw because once they see the finances, perhaps the finances are too much. Perhaps they come to the school and it's just not what they're looking for. And that's okay. I think our school's amazing. I think that Ambleside philosophy is fantastic. But obviously, no school is perfect. No people are perfect. And so
sure.
they might withdraw on that point. And then we have, if we reject a family, we, as an independent school in South Africa, we don't have to accept everybody that applies, and we don't want to just reject people for no reason. We think carefully about it, and usually it has to do with the fact that when they come from government schools, we have quite an advanced math program, and sometimes when they come to us, they may be too far behind in their math. So it might not be the child's fault, but we have small classes, but even with small classes, you can't have too many children who need support. Otherwise, we can't offer what we say we offer. And so in that way, we might need to reject somebody on that basis.
Okay. Can you go back a little bit to
Sure.
where you started? You showed us the lists you've set up, and that brings me to a question I wanted to ask. Did you start using Crmble having some sort of experience already with Trello, or did you start from scratch with Trello and Crmble at the same time?
I started at the same time. So I went and I saw I saw Trello. We were using Trello very simply, myself and one of the parents who's helping as a volunteer, and then she was working a little bit with me, and we used the Trello boards just to allocate some work, but we weren't using it as a CRM.
Okay, interesting. And how difficult was it for you to wrap your head around what Crmble meant as this power up on top of Trello? Was it easy to find a way to add these custom stages that are represented there on the board by using the lists? Was it difficult? Was it easy?
I found it fairly easy. I think that, I didn't find it a problem. Look, I think I did a tutorial, but I also, with the demo that you gave me, that gave me a lot of insight. I found the demo fantastic, and have really loved also just jumping on to help, and the support team have been so good at replying and helping me with understand maybe things that I'm not quite grasping. So I think, generally I would say easy. I have had a little bit of experience in, kind of adding a list to Trello prior to actually using Crmble, but not a lot. And so the last 6 months have been a lot of growth. But I think two things I've found: the Crmble demo at the beginning was really invaluable. And I've also found the support help prompt just really great. And I've really enjoyed the way I think that the support team communicates has been very helpful. And so in that way, I think I've found it reasonably simple and easy to use.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your encouraging words. We try to do our best, and we also think when we started a couple of years ago these demo sessions, and regardless how easy you want to build a tool, there's always some need to get people started. So we are very happy with with the feedback about our demos. And we have a question from Funman Andy. A question for Janice. What point in the process do you fully archive your Trello cards from your boards? So at what point in the process do you fully archive the cards, if at all?
To be honest, my answer at the moment, I haven't done anything yet in archiving. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that question.
So regarding archiving, I want to point out something. At some point, when you accumulate too many cards on your board, you might want to unclutter it, and you could do that. With Trello, nothing gets lost, at least not if you don't delete it completely. So you could go and say at any moment, okay, let's archive all the cards from this or that list. When you open Crmble in the report section and in the deal section, you can actually click the checkbox to bring back to the reports, to the statistics, the archived cards. So even if you want to unclutter the board, you can have access to older archived cards to see the whole picture. So I remember last week, or another question from Hanman Andy, for dates, we love creation date, but we have absolutely no need of end date, and we never do the timings, hours, minutes. How do we switch those off to leave just the creation date? So I think the question is, it's a Crmble question. There is currently no way to switch off the hours and the minutes, so the time at the moment. But that's a cool request. So we might need to look into that and have a conversation, and maybe we can add this feature in the near future. I know you have to jump at 12:30, so we have just 7 minutes, Janice. So I would like to ask you, because I remember I think it was last week we spoke a little bit about reports. Have you been able to have a look at the reports and at the deal section where you can filter by the different fields you've set up? And if so, was it easy? Do you feel comfortable? Do you see the potential in being able to get reports out of all the details you've been putting in the cards?
Unfortunately, I haven't, Alberta. As part of a small school, I'm not just one job. I don't just do one job. And so I've had quite a lot of other things that I've had to spend a bit of time on recently. And so, no, I haven't. That's the answer to you. But in looking at what I think that the last time that we spent together in looking at the reports, I definitely have a better understanding of what to do now. I don't feel as lost as I was before. So now I definitely feel far more comfortable to be able to get what I need. So thank you.
Okay, and another question for you from Funman Andy. He says, did I hear right that your collaborators with external, that you collaborate with external parties? Is it just through email, or do you share Trello boards or cards with guests?
I'm not quite sure what that you mean by external parties. Does that mean perhaps the potential parents that might be coming to our school? If so, I work with them through email. And what's great with Crmble is the email. In fact, we didn't look at that part, but I can click on email and see all of the different emails that I've been in contact with a particular potential parent. And so it can be done through the Crmble. It's set to link to my Gmail. And so whenever I get a new email from that parent, I can pick it up in Crmble. And well, no, I don't pick it up on Crmble, but I can email it through. I can reply to them. So yes, I'm still working on that a bit, but the email feature is wonderful. And the other thing that I wanted to mention as well, which I love, is the fact that if I put a due date, it pops up as a to-do in my Gmail. And that's so wonderful as a reminder. So I can get reminders in my email address that I've got something that I have to follow up. So another wonderful feature.
That sounds great. So we really think Crmble relies on for due dates, for reminders, for notification, obviously writing down the activity, which lets you write down at the end of the card every small notes about actions you've been taking that you can revisit later on. You can have, I'm not sure, I can't remember if you have other Trello members on your board, and if so, are you using, no, you're alone.
Well, actually, that's not 100% true. I do have one other person. They can't see my Crmble. They can't see the Crmble boards. I mean, the Crmble cards, but they can see the lists and the actual Trello board. So I don't have a Crmble collaborator, but I do have a Trello collaborator.
Okay, and do you use in the comments mentioning others with the? I think it's when you write down the @ symbol, you can mention others, and they will receive a message. Do you use that messaging feature in the activity in the comments part of the card?
Right, I do. I was using it with just the pure Trello. So I have a Crmble board, well, a Trello board that I use with Crmble that I use pretty much on my own, and that I use for the admissions process. But then I have a pure just Trello board that I use with a lady that works with me, and we work on social media together and that kind of thing. So I will use that just there.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so yeah, we are very close to the 30 minutes. I know you need to jump at past. So before we do, I just wanted to thank you again for your time to jump in and to show us how you are using Crmble, and that makes for us a very important point, which is that Crmble is not only suitable to stay on top of deals and to close more deals, but as you demonstrated, it's also useful, as it is contact related, to follow up on admission process in your school, and that's so great to see that you found us, you found it easy to use, you found our demos useful, and that you are actively working now on a daily basis with Crmble, and hopefully you have the impression that it helped you manage many more admissions than in the past. So I'm very happy to see that.
No, it's great, and it's been a privilege to be part of this this evening. I didn't realize what it was all about, but jumped on anyway, and really been a privilege to be part of this. And I do hope that other schools will find it, because I think when in schools we often are budget constrained, and we are looking for ways to make life a little bit easier, because schools usually don't have one person to do one job. Usually we have a number of hats that we need to wear. And so being able to do something a little bit easier, taking a little bit of pressure off of us to have a system that works for us, is really great. And so I hope some schools will be able to see this and see how they can help themselves as well to streamline their job a little bit easier.
Yeah, hopefully other schools, especially also because you mentioned something at the beginning very important, and that's something we've been aiming for from the start, which is to provide something affordable. that
Yes.
that many people can pay. We know that the competition out there are many great players, much more sophisticated CRMs, but sometimes those are a little bit overkill and overwhelming, and they charge an amount that not everybody needs, that 1,000 features. So we wanted to act like I would say curators of features, and just pick the ones that majority of people out there would need, and put that in the hands of people for a fraction of the price. So yeah, that's very important. Okay, Janice, so thank you so much for your time, and I hope
You're
to
welcome.
see you soon in another support session, and maybe we can dig deeper into all the report stuff.
Yes, I am looking forward to actually grasping the reports properly and being able to use them well. So thank you so much, Alberto. I really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your evening.
You're welcome. Thank you. You also. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was great. I'm reading a question I missed to the Crmble team from Funman Andy, a good friend. Yeah, you are. Looks like you are experiencing some issues when you include archive cards in the dashboard. For some reason, you are some deals are dropping from the report. Probably you're doing everything right. Maybe there is something we are missing on our end, so we will definitely have a look into this and let you know. We'll send you an email and let you know if it's something, if it's a temporary glitch or something, and if there is an issue, we will always look into that. It should work. All it does is when you activate the show archived, it should bring back archived to the statistics, to the widgets information you see in the dashboard. So yeah, that's definitely something we need to look into if it's not working correctly. So yeah, so that we are close to the end of our weekly office hours. We try to keep this as short as possible. Before we wrap this up, I wanted to remind you about how important it is for us to subscribe to our channel, and how important it is for you to, if you do, so that you don't miss future shows where we talk about these different workflows and real world examples and expert advice and tricks and how to get the most out of Crmble. If you don't want to miss all this information, and if you think that or if you liked what you saw in this episode, I would highly recommend to subscribe and to hit the notification bell, so that you get a notification and you don't miss any future not only live streams, but also short videos we upload with tips and tricks. So one of the videos you can expect to see shortly is one where we will talk about how to bring leads from Facebook into Crmble using Make. Make together with Zapier are the most used automation platforms out there. And the nice thing about Make is that they have very affordable prices, and they let you run 1,000 operations per month on a free plan. So if you are running some sort of campaign in Facebook and you are collecting leads, these type of campaigns I think are called lead form campaigns, where people can fill out quickly a form. And although Facebook offers some sort of CRM that collects all the leads, if you feel more comfortable in Trello and you would like to explore how you could bring all those leads you collect in Facebook directly into your Trello board, powered with Crmble, I would recommend you stay tuned to our next episode, where we will show you in a workshop how to actually connect this and make this work, which we think is something we know for a fact that's something that many users are interested in, because we get this question a lot, especially because in the past we had this as an out-of-the-box feature, and now we still offer the possibility, but it's not that transparent. Not everybody sees the potential or is able to set up automations with Make or Zapier. So we would like to show how easy it is in our next office hour episode. Okay, so thank you so much. You can learn everything about Crmble visiting crmble.com/Trello. We also developed Crmble for Jira, if you are into Jira. So I would recommend you look into that as well. It's the same URL. Instead of /Trello, you have to write /Jira. And if you jump into crmble.com, you'll see two buttons that will send you to the one or the other Crmble integration for both platforms. So yeah, thank you so much for joining this week's office hours, and I'll see you next week in the next one. Have a nice day. Bye.